Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Yesterday, I asked you on the community tab of this channel, what's a collaboration you'd love to see happen someday? What two musical masterminds would you love to put in a room and witness making potentially beautiful music? You guys gave me some killer fucking answers, so today we're going to talk about metal collaborations that need to happen. Ziltoid the Omniscient says Devin Townsend producing guesting on a hypothetical avant-garde album of King Gizzard would be orgasmic. I mean, it's King Gizzard. I'm sure they can pull it off. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard could probably play just about any fucking genre at this point, and it would be fucking fantastic. But an avant-garde metal record, a prog metal record with Devin Townsend, that's a really cool idea. I like that a lot. And honestly, I've no doubt that Devin would be really into this because he's done so many crazy collabs and so many weird experiments and side projects over the years. So yeah, I like this idea a lot. I would definitely love to see that happen. King Rico says Mike Patton and Nas Alchemist. So you're either referring to one of two people here, either the rapper Nas, either Alchemist is his last name, and I'm just now learning this, or you're referring to Nas Alchemist from Achilles or Achilles, the black death metal band that did Melano back in 2020. I'm going to assume you mean the latter. I don't know. Sure, but this isn't something I would be super pumped about. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mike Patton is mad talented, and so is Nas in his own regard. I'm not trying to talk shit about him, but I don't know. What would these two do together? Like, I don't know. I don't really see it, but who knows? Maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe these two will get together and it'll be amazing. Whatever. Littlefur JC says the real three Tremors, Halford, Dickinson, and Townsend. But I'll spare Tim Owens by making him the singer of Slayer 2.0. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants Slayer 2.0. And if anyone does, I promise you they don't want Tim Owens to be the singer for that. So, yeah, fuck you, Littlefur JC, just a little bit. I mean, you're a cool guy, but fuck you just a little bit. The original three Tremors was going to be Rob Halford, Bruce Dickinson, and Ronnie James Dio. And I would definitely love, it definitely would have been cool to see the three of those work on something. There is a track on Rob Halford's first solo album, Resurrection, I think it's called. But the song is called The One You Love to Hate. And it does feature Bruce Dickinson on vocals. And there were a few occasions when this would be performed live where they'd also invite Geoff Tate of Queensryche fame to do guest vocals as well. And I feel like that right there, if there was going to be a real three Tremors and not the one featuring the Tim Owens and that fucking idiot from Cage Hell or whatever, if there was going to be a real three Tremors, that would probably be what it would have to be, because Dio is obviously not here and therefore this cannot happen in that exact form. Dave Sigismund says Tumult and Tony Bennett. I can't ever picture that happening, but I'd be lying if I said I kind of didn't want to see that happen. Like I would love to see Tony Bennett croon and smoothly sing his way over some gnarly Canadian death metal. This is intriguing to me. CJ Neal says Joe Duplantis and Michael Ackerfeld, Devin Townsend and Dan Mongrain for the Canadian 1-2 punch, Ozzy Osbourne and Elmo. Joe Duplantis and Michael Ackerfeld, that'd be cool. Devin Townsend, Dan Mongrain, that's cool too. Ozzy Osbourne and Elmo, that sounds like I don't know, that sounds like an SNL skit. I think Elmo would be horrified of being eaten because, Ozzy, but it would be cute, you could even have Ozzy show up on an episode of like Sesame Street or something. They can do a counting game or whatever. Or no, it's the count. Like there's an actual count character. So I guess he would do it with him. I don't know. It'd be cute. Fuck it. Why not? I'm definitely going to butcher your name, but Mateusz Sweech, I apologize. He says Tuamas, Salkonen, and Andy Gillian, they would create a mellow-death masterpiece. I'd like to agree with you, but I don't know who these people are, so let's look them up. Andy Gillian is a British-born multi-instrumentalist, composer, and songwriter. He is best known as the former songwriter and lead guitarist of melodic death metal band Mors Principum Est. Oh, yeah, that motherfucker's talented. All right, we're off to a good start. And this other guy, Tuamas, is in a couple of different bands. Before the Dawn, Dawn of Solace, Wolfheart. All right, yeah. So I could picture this happening. This would be pretty cool. Like just really badass modern melodic death metal with like some doomy proggy undertones. I can hear that. All right, I'm down. Slipknot MFKR Locust says Corey Taylor and Jester Stromblad. Yeah, that is not something that excites me. I'll just cut straight to the fucking chase. That's gonna be a no for me, dog. Astolfo the Rider of Black, the unholy trinity of collabs I would like to see is Psychosexual and Marilyn Manson, Dungeon Wolf and Trapped, and Machine Gun Kelly and Chris Barnes. We've reached that point on the Metal Meltdown where we're just mashing up Robert's most hated bands all together. Like the most controversial figures, the worst records, the worst singers, just throw them all in a fucking blender. I'm not gonna lie, I'd kind of love to see it. None of this would ever happen. Like, none of these collabs ever will happen. But I would love to see them happen just so that I can make delicious fucking memes out of every single one of them. On a more serious note, Astolfo also says a dream collab for me would be Mayhem's Attila Sihar with Carcass. That would actually be pretty cool. I'm not really sure what they would do together, but it would be really cool. Metal Trenches says Maynard and Trent Reznor bummed me out when that Tapeworm project never happened. I'd actually love to hear Michael Bolton on an Evergrade track. Also Mike Patton on Voivod. Mike Bolton on an Evergrade track sounds awesome. I always kind of like the idea of him doing like hard rock, heavy metal in general because he's got such a strong voice. Mike Patton with Voivod, that just makes too much sense. That needs to happen. And Maynard and Trent Reznor, I didn't even know they had a project together at one point or that it was called Tapeworm, but that sounds fucking exciting. That's another thing where I'm like, you know what? That needs to fucking happen. Sabur says Luke LeMay and Mike Portnoy, Michael Ackerfeld and Jamie Saint Moran, Tosin Abasi and Thomas Hawk. And that's in a fucking, that one for realsies. Stephen Wilson and Jong Longstreth, Colin Marston producing and guesting on an Arcspire record. That one too. That would be awesome. John Hagum, I'm sorry, I'm butchering tons of names, with Deathspell Omega, and a posthumous Chris Cornell redoing the vocals for Rush, Dream Theater, and or Led Zeppelin. No, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't give a fuck about Dream Theater, but don't touch Rush, don't touch Led Zeppelin, and for that matter, don't touch Chris Cornell. Let that man rest. We don't need more posthumous records. It's fine. Some good ideas, though, all around. I like a lot of these ideas. Robert Sparling says, how about Tommy Johansson from Sabaton, Majestica, and Nora from Battle Beast covering Meatloaf's I'd Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That as a tribute to the legend? Sure, I don't care enough about power metal to really comment on that, but sure, whatever. Blackwater Rust says, Devin Townsend and Steven Wilson, Isak Trillium and Mare Cognitum, Denzel Curry and The Alchemist, Greg Puciato and Trent Reznor, Converge and Lingua Ignota, KO Dot and Mike Patton, Imperial Triumphant and John Zorn, Alcest and Lantlos, Full of Hell and Dragged into Sunlight, and Mr. Bungle and Les Claypool. Some really amazing ideas. I love a lot of these. Did Aesop Trillium and Mare Cognitum not do an album together at some point, though? I could have sworn they did. Not that I'm objecting to them doing another, if that's the case. Denzel Curry and The Alchemist would be fucking awesome too. Devin Townsend, Steven Wilson. I feel like that has to have happened. I mean, those are two of the biggest names in prog rock. But if that hasn't happened, it needs to. Full of Hell and Dragged into Sunlight. That's an interesting one. Mr. Bungle, Les Claypool. That's another one where I'm like, that's so weird that it needs to happen just for the sake of me learning how fucking weird it is. Bravo, Blackwater Rust. You thought of some really killer fucking collab ideas. All of these sound awesome. Bernard says BT Bam Between the Buried and Me with Rhodey Walker and Protest the Hero with Tommy Giles. Yeah, Protest the Hero Between the Buried and Me collab. That would be really fucking cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. I really like that idea. Two of my favorite modern prog metal bands. Let's make that happen. I do still have Rhodey Walker's Skype ID. Maybe I'll just like message him and be like, hey, so today on the Metal Meltdown, you know, someone brought up a pretty cool idea. Arbiter of the Damned says, one that I thought of a while back that would be absolutely batshit is Code Orange and Poppy, like her collab With Fever 333 from a while back, the contrast between the sugary pop and the bone-crushing heaviness would be epic to hear together, especially from these two. I love that you didn't just provide a great idea, but you also provided like, oh, this is why it would be a great idea. Like, you clearly have like a vision as to how this would happen and why this would happen and what it might sound like. So props. Code Orange and Poppy would be really cool. I definitely think they would work really well together. They're two of the hottest names in modern metal right now. So yeah, I definitely would like to see that. Medusa says, here's a little list. Knock Loose and Nails, Daughters and Lingua Ignota, Street Cleaner and Health, Shadow of Intent and Lorna Shore, Death Grips and Poppy, and I Hate God and Primitive Man. Death Grips and Poppy, that's weird, but I like it. Shadow of Intent and Lorna Shore, those are two of the best modern deathcore bands. Like, everything they've put out in the past year, those two bands is fucking fantastic, so I'd actually like to see that too. Daughters and Lingua Ignota, that's not going to happen. I mean, musically, yes, the two are a very natural pairing, but considering everything that's happened with Lingua Ignota and the Daughters lead singer, yeah, I can't. That's not going to fucking happen. But, you know, 3 or 4 years ago in a parallel universe where those two have a very healthy relationship, that would be cool. If it helps, Lingua Ignota is on record as saying that a lot of the stuff she went through with the singer from Daughters inspired a lot of the lyrical content on Sinner Get Ready. So there you go. There's something, I guess. Metal Fan 101. I would have loved to see what weird and wacky shit Dimebag Darrell and Steve Vai could have come up with together. I don't feel like it would have been that weird or wacky. Like, Dimebag is more of a straightforward metal guitarist. Whereas Steve Vai is, you know, Steve fucking Vai. But I don't know, it would be cool. If he was still alive, I could picture him doing that Guitar Axe Generation tour that Steve Vai sometimes does with like Tosin Abasi, Yngwie Malmsteen, Zakk Wylde as well. And, you know, come to think of it, Zakk Wylde was at one point considered as a potential replacement for Dimebag in a purely hypothetical Pantera reunion. So, you know, I guess you can look up the Axe Generation, the guitar tour. I can't remember what it's called, but you'll probably know what I'm talking about. Look that up. You'll see those two fucking jamming together. So there you go. Joshua Harrison says Author and Punisher and Radiohead. Yeah, it's a no for me, dog. I like Author and Punisher just where they are, and I don't care enough about Radiohead to want to see a collaboration. So yeah, that's a no for me, dog. But you keep on wishing, you keep on hoping. More power to you. Michael McVitie says, since Blood Moon turned out to be an awesome idea, I'd love to see Chelsea Wolfe work with others like that, perhaps Gojira. For collabs that can't happen, Frank Zappa and Emperor because fuck sense. That is impossible, but it would be wild. I do like the idea of Chelsea Wolfe working with like more metal bands, especially someone like Gojira. That would be really cool. Jamie S. says, it'd be sick to see how Corpse Grinder fits in with Dying Fetus instrumentals. That would be cool. That makes a lot of sense too. I mean, Corpse Grinder just still has that amazing fucking voice. Dying Fetus, their music is absolutely fucking pulverizing, especially with these last couple of records. So that is definitely something I would want to see come to fruition. That sounds like a dream come true for a total death metal nerd. So fuck yeah, let's make that happen, boys. Be Mindful and Wise says Devin Townsend and Michael Ackerfeld. Considering I have most of Opeth's discography and I'm starting to build up my Devin Townsend collection, it would be cool to hear a collaboration with these two geniuses. It would be really cool. No objections whatsoever. Two mad, talented individuals. Uncle Donut says Lingua Ignota and Opeth. I mean, they're both super talented, but I've got no idea what those two would even do together. Like, Lingua Ignota is off doing like really weird experimental rock and like, I don't know, whatever the fuck songs like Pennsylvania Furnace are. Meanwhile, Opeth is like a full-on prog rock band. I don't know. I don't see these two worlds working together in syncing up in harmony. T Baggin says Phil Tuga and Mike Portnoy. I mean, both of these guys are a part of so many different projects that I almost have to assume that they've accidentally collaborated and they don't know about it yet. We don't know about it yet. You know what I mean? Like, Phil Tugas, Atramentus, Catheolus, and now he's a member of Worm, First Fragment. He was in Eternity's End. And Mike Portnoy, obviously Dream Theater, but also he was in Twisted Sister, The Winery Dogs, Avenged Sevenfold. I have to assume that because both of these guys have been a part of so many projects, they've just accidentally crossed paths. It has to have happened. I feel like there's a statistical possibility. I don't know what that statistic is. I don't know what the numbers are, but it's there. It exists. Kinnick-Heater 1997 says Slash from Guns N' Roses and Joe Perry from Aerosmith. This probably would have excited me like 10, 15 years ago, but now not so much. They're both talented. Joe Perry's awesome. Aerosmith is awesome. I love Guns N' Roses. Y'all know that. And Slash has done a lot of really cool collabs over the years. He's worked with everyone from Alice Cooper to Lenny Kravitz, Ray Charles, Michael fucking Jackson. There's no doubt in my mind that, these two would work very well together, but I don't think they would make anything really that interesting. It would probably just be like a really straightforward kind of hard rock record. Something on par with like what Joe Perry's been doing with the Hollywood Vampires. I can't imagine it would sound anything other than that. I don't know. Whatever. Nicholas Dom says, though I love his new album, which wasn't as harsh as his previous works and had more catchy melodies to it, I would love to see Author and Punisher team up with Full of Hell. Just super heavy, chaotic, industrial noise. That does sound like an awesome fucking collaboration. 10 out of 10. I want that. Brilliant. I love you, Nicholas. Chad Lyons fan says Mike Patton and the Deftones or Mike Patton in Between the Buried and Me. Or Dave Lombardo and Foo Fighters. Can't replace Taylor, but Dave would be crazy with their new thrash album. Dave Grohl and Dave Lombardo would be cool, but I'm not sure I'd want to see Dave Lombardo with the Foo Fighters. That motherfucker busy as hell anyway. I mean, the Misfits, Suicidal Tendencies, Dead Cross, and now he's a member of Testament too. So I can't picture he has time to spare for Dave Grohl. Mike Patton and Deftones would be cool. Mike Patton and Between the Buried and Me would be cool. It's cool. I like those ideas. Easy Bait Coven says, a friend and I were once discussing how potentially awe-inspiring a collab between Nick Cave and Neurosis would be. It makes perfect sense from a compositional standpoint. Nick's withered crooning and dark, biblically laced poetry topped with an oppressive atmosphere of instrumental buildup, crushing distortion, and Scott Kelly and Steve Von Till's violent howls is something I can vividly dream. Damn, dude, you gave me a fucking essay. I love it. Yeah, you've sold me. I want this. 10 out of 10. Love it. Love you. RCCJ Rock says Luke Helder and Dave Grohl. Who the fuck is Luke Helder? I legitimately do not know who that is. Thank God I have my phone already out. Luke Helder is a former University of Wisconsin Stout student from Pine Island, Minnesota, who earned notoriety as the Midwest Pipe Bomber in May 2002. I don't want to know why you want a fucking terrorist and Dave Grohl to be in the same room. That's a little scary and a little fucked up, buddy. Yeah, that's a no for me, dog, to put it bluntly. Johnny Satire says a Dalek and Blut Osnard collab would be a sight to see. I'd also want Pelican to do a full collab with the singer for the band Shiner. And I really want Master Boot Record to do another collab with Igor on vocals. Anything with Blut Osnard and you've got my attention. Master Boot Record and Igor would be really exciting. I didn't even know those two had worked together. So I'll have to look that up and then also pray for more because that sounds awesome. Mad Mike says Devin Townsend and Bo Burnham, their musical style is pretty similar despite one of them not being metal. I think their senses of humor would mesh well too. Imagine them writing metal songs similar to Bo's country song or Welcome to the Metal Community, or if Bo had a short keyboard snippet in an otherwise full-on metal epic. I think this would be a fascinating record at the very least. I like that. That's interesting. I don't really listen to a lot of Bo Burnham stuff, but he's a pretty talented guy. And of course, Devin, as we've already mentioned multiple times in this video. Clearly, y'all love Devin Townsend. I'd be down to see that. Master Vane has got a full-blown supergroup idea with Phil Tugas on vocals and lead guitar, Colin Marston on bass and keyboard, Zachary Ezrin on vocals and rhythm guitar, and John Longstreth on drums. Yes, everything about this Yes, definitely putting the super in super group. I mean, there's just an absurd amount of talent here. I want that. Pair of Jeans Reviews says, I think a mashup of Mike Patton and Deftones could be super cool and interesting. That's the second time I've heard that specific idea in this video, so clearly you're not alone, Pair of Jeans. Also, Lingua Ignota and Primitive Man. A lot of people want to see Lingua Ignota collabs. I like that. I don't know about with Primitive Man, just because I've never been a huge fan of their particular sound and vibe, but it would definitely be interesting. Beanman says, screw two musicians getting together. You and Questy need to do more collabs. I'd be more than fucking down to do more collabs with Questy. He's kind of doing his own thing right now. We still talk, you know, there's no bad blood before someone starts speculating. He's just doing his own thing right now. But I am more than down. Hit me up, Questy, if you have any fucking ideas. And yeah, lots of cool collabs. I guess since we're already here, I should talk about some collaborations I would want to see. A lot of people mentioned Full of Hell. A lot of people mentioned Lingua Ignota. But nobody mentioned a full-on collaboration between Full of Hell and Lingua Ignota, which is something I would really love to see. Those are two musical universes that, you know, fit together perfectly. So much so that I'm shocked that an album has not come out of such an idea. I would also love to see Code Orange and Mick Gordon work together. I mean, for me, these are two musical universes that just fit together perfectly once again. Code Orange, badass, modern, industrial, heavy metal, metalcore band. The riffs are tight and crunchy. And Mick Gordon, though primarily known for his work on the Doom Eternal soundtrack, has gotten into producing music for metalcore bands as of late. He produced the last Bring Me the Horizon EP, which I really liked. He produced the new Monuments album coming out this week, which, minor spoiler alert for an upcoming review, I also really like. And he's also working with Motionless in White on their next album, which I probably won't like because I don't like Motionless in White. But the point is, Mick Gordon clearly loves him some modern metalcore. So why not work with like the best modern metalcore band out there right now, Code Orange, fuse these two worlds together? And honestly, y'all are going to laugh at me, but I totally want to see this. I absolutely 110% want to see Lady Gaga and Metallica collaborate. This is something people speculated on for a while because they performed at the Grammys together. You know, Rob Halford and Scott Ian later went on to say that they would love to collaborate with Lady Gaga as well. But rumors still persist years later that Lady Gaga and Metallica will make an album. Will they? I don't actually know. Should they? Sure. Fuck it. Why not? Metallica's got nothing left to prove at this fucking point, and let's be honest, there's no way that a potential collaboration with Lady Gaga would be worse than Saint Anger or like anything like that. And Lady Gaga is a genuinely great artist. Like, I'm not going to say singer. She's a great artist. She's done everything from pop to glam rock to singer-songwriter music, 90s EDM. She was amazing in A Star Is Born. I liked her in House of Gucci too. Fuck it. She's a metalhead by her own admission. You know, there are even some recordings and some records of her that do have a bit of a metal edge to it. Like, I'd argue there are moments of Edge of Glory and Born This Way that have a bit of a metal pomp to it. I could absolutely picture Lady Gaga eventually doing a metal record. I feel like it's inevitable. But with Metallica, why not? Fuck it. Make it happen, guys. Oh, and not quite metal, but I'd love to see these two collaborate. David Hasselhoff and Tupperware Remix Party. That's another like natural fit for me. David Hasselhoff makes very silly synth pop. He's got like a heavier rock voice that I think would work very well with Tupperware Remix Party's very versatile, flexible, eclectic sound. I want to see that. It's not quite metal, but it would be fucking awesome. And that's it. Voila. Those are all the collaborations. That's a lot of collaborations. Let me know in the comments, what are some other really exciting collabs you would love to see happen in the future? Feel free to press subscribe so you get updates on this channel if you aren't already. You know, that'd be pretty cool of you. Check out these videos. Oh my God. One of them is Health. Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this one. I don't know. Health did a collab album recently, and that was cool too. Check that out. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.